Hey guys, I wanted to come on here and talk about this video of this situation where yet again you have some white people disrespecting black people because they feel like they should. Now, this is interesting. This is a very interesting story because it says a man asked a black woman if her daughter bathed before going in the hotel pool. And there is a historical context to this where you have white supremacists not wanting to share pools with black people. We know the situation in McKinney, Texas, where it involved a pool party where a white woman, called the police because she saw black people over there. Let me tell you guys something. I stand by my claim that these cavelings only do these things to black people that they can. Because I was in Canada, right? And people like to pretend that Canada isn't racist, but it actually really is. I went there shortly after Donald Trump was initially elected. I believe that it was last year for my birthday. I went to Canada, and it was extremely racist. You could tell the hostile environment. But I think we stayed at the Hyatt in Canada. And I'm going to tell you what, not only did I get in the pool, but there was white people sitting next to me, and me and my sister carried on with our conversation about how deplorable white people tend to act. And I'm going to tell you what ended up happening. They definitely didn't say anything to me about being in the pool. They actually got up and left the pool because they were made to feel uncomfortable. And what I also noticed there was that the black people who were there, the black men, were asking us to lower our tone and basically trying to get us to coddle the feelings of them. So I'm not blaming this on this black woman because this is indicative of a larger issue that I've already spoken on many times. And that larger issue is the fact that black people have consistently and consecutively allowed these white supremacists to feel comfortable. They've allowed these white supremacists to feel emboldened. And that is why they go around finding weaker targets, because understand these things that they're doing, they're not going to just do them to any black person. I want y'all to understand that. And that's not been saying that there's anything wrong with her beyond the fact that they perceived her to be a weaker, more vulnerable, passive threat. Now, this was at the Westin Hotel. So the Westin in the Hyatt, which is where we were at the Hyatt Regency, actually, in Canada. We had gotten a really good deal on it online. So we ended up being at the Hyatt Regency. And of course, with the currency rate, is always going to be a lesser amount. But so we were at the Hyatt Regency, and we were in the hot tubs and the pools. And again, there was white people in there, and they simply got up and got out because they were made to feel uncomfortable. There was no comment about, needing to shower before getting the pool. There was none of that. And if they did say something like that to me or my sister, you can best believe it would have been the last time they said something to any black person. They would have thought twice, just like those two black women who beat the brakes off of that lady in a Boost Mobile store after she called them black bitches. That woman can say whatever she want to say in order to save face. But the reality of it is she'll think twice. That's why I say black people need to start making examples. Recording them and videoing them, it clearly doesn't work. I don't know why we're still in the habit of video recording them. And then I'm not even saying you can't video record them. Video record yourself cussing them out and putting them in their place. Now we can get to this video. This is a video that she posted to Facebook. And I want to kind of I want to play this video really quickly. Here, let's turn it.
You had no right to do what you did.
I simply asked him to take a shower.
Okay, we should the general manager coming up there. Okay.
Because that's one of the rules. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of getting the rules that people consider baths horses. And she told me
but you didn't ask anyone else. You didn't ask anyone else. You asked me if I showered. You're doing it. There's plenty of people over there in the goddamn pool.
You're not my pool.
There are 3 other people over there. There's 3 other people over there. You didn't ask them. They're right over there right now. They've been over there. When you asked me, they were there.
Relax.
See, I don't have to fucking relax. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Why not?
The way you feel, be quiet.
I apologize.
You had no business.
It's everybody's business.
We travel all the time.
Google the diseases of
We travel. Take her upstairs so she don't hear all of this.
I want to pause this right here because I'm telling you two things that I don't like. Number one, her entire response is emotional and belligerent, okay? Now, I'm not going to say she doesn't have a right to be angry. She does. However, that is not the way that I would have dealt with things, because what she didn't do is insult him the way that that he insulted her. If I was her, I would have simply said, sir, I would surmise that you shouldn't be in the pool at all because I don't want your pubic or your head lice falling off into the pool. I would have said, sir, your 6,000 disease genes make you unqualified to even speak about some diseases being in the pool. I would have said, sir, if there's a high rate of diseases in the pool, it's because of you with your disease genetics and the fact that you people carry around more diseases than anybody do. Now, she could have said that in a very calm voice, and I bet you that dude would have turned red and he would have got out of there. Because at that point, she's making him have to think about the fact that he is white, therefore genetically inferior. I would have said, dude, I don't want to share a pool with someone that gets psoriasis and varicose veins. I don't want to share a pool with someone that got liver spots and a 60% decrease in sperm. So the least of your worries, sir, should be me taking a shower. You need to go get those pubic lice dealt with. That's what you need to go do. Now, how likely is it that had she said that, that conversation would have turned into that? Because I wouldn't even went and got a manager. I would have got a manager after I thoroughly humiliated him. Actually, I would have caused him to go get a manager. And I would have recorded me cussing him out and letting him know what was what. I recorded that. But what I wouldn't have done is reacted as emotionally as she did. Because this is probably why it's again, these places don't care, because you can react emotionally, you can throw out curse words, you can shout. They don't really care about that. They actually care more about a person who's going to intellectually eat you all the way up, because him having pubic lice and head lice isn't anything that he can dispute. Him having a 60% decrease in sperm count and being impotent isn't something that he can dispute. Him getting psoriasis and liver spots isn't anything that he can dispute. Him having the same type of hair as a dog isn't anything that he can dispute. White people being the carriers of most of the diseases in this country isn't anything that he could dispute. So what I would have did is I would have ate him up with facts. But again, these things don't happen to me. And when I move, I'm still going to continue to maintain that they probably won't happen to me, because Black people carry around a certain amount of energy, and your energy speaks louder than you do. Let's get back to the video.
Because it's only a shower, you're letting it worry. Stop at the manager of the hotel. 2 seconds, you call me. Please, listen, I apologize. What's going on, sir? Of course. Please, thank you very much. Ladies over here. You don't know who he is. Ladies over here, please. You don't know who he is, and you letting him leave what he did. Ma'am.
See, this is what Tui, it's irking me when I watch this video, because she's way too emotional. Like, when are Black people going to realize the fact that they don't care about your emotion, they don't care about your tears, they don't care about your crying, they don't care about your protesting. They don't care anything about that. The only thing that's pissing me off is the level of emotion that she's exhibiting, because that means you still care. That means you care so much about what they're doing, and there are different ways. Again, one big solution is for Black people to make them have to think of themselves in terms of their whiteness, like they make you think of yourself in terms of your Blackness. And you can do that by pointing out things that they have as a result of their whiteness. They do get pubic lice and they do get head lice. Why couldn't she have said, sir, that's fine. I don't want to share a pool with a human dog. Because that's basically what you are. Dogs get fleas, ticks, and lice. You get fleas, ticks, and lice. Dogs have a certain hair type. You share that hair type with them. Dogs smell like wet dogs when they get wet. You smell like a wet dog when you get wet. And I would have said that very calmly. I would have said it very, very calmly and cordially, much like I did when the caveling rolled up on me and tried to block my car in to tell me that I drove like an idiot. And I said, sir, I don't care about your opinion. Go get back in your cave, or I'm going to steal your sunscreen. How about that? And then I said, your life is an idiot, so stop talking to me. And then the dude in his car, he sat there and stared. So we stared back. Then he drove away, thereby letting him know, sir, if this needs to get physical, it will get physical. But you don't even have to do that. You just have to show them that you will insult him. All she's doing is showing emotion. All she's doing is showing a bunch of emotion, and it's annoying.
Talk to you over here, because I don't want to call the police, and if I do, it's going to be a big headache for everybody.
Well, why are you letting him go and you don't even know who he is? But you don't know who he is.
There's a whole lot of people.
But you don't know who he is.
Ma'am.
Who is that man? Who is he?
A guest in the hotel.
And who are we?
A guest in the hotel.
Okay, then why don't you know who he is?
See, she's so aggravating. Like, I'm sorry, I get that she's in this situation, but she's aggravating. They can find out who he is because he's staying in a hotel. They have cameras all over the place. So letting him leave is inconsequential. Bottom line, that's just a reality. And I know that this is a situation with her, and understand, the Kathleen is 100% in the wrong. I would never say that. Her reaction is the problem. That's what I'm telling Black people. The way that you react is going to determine how the outcome changes. Acting off of 100% raw emotion. This woman, it sounds like she's a crying child, and it's just annoying to me. And then this is in Pasadena, California, for all those people who think that because you're on the West Coast that somehow you're safe. No. But I live in a state that's whiter than this, and I never even had this happen. Let's continue.
He's leaving the pool, and you guys are trying to enjoy the pool, right?
Yes.
Well, then go enjoy the pool. Let me go talk to him. But I can't have this disturbance.
Well, this is what I want to know. Why would he ask my children did they bathe before they got in the pool?
Not a very nice question.
And why he didn't ask all them other people?
I have no answer.
How is this man supposed to know why that man is asking that? See, this is the thing I'm really trying not to get irked by her response to this, but I'm really irked by her response to this, okay? Now, I want to show you what she wrote on Facebook. So this is what she wrote on Facebook, and as you can see, she's at the Westin in Pasadena, California. She said, swimming while Black. This past Monday, June 11, 2008, at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, while on summer vacation at the Westin Hotel in Pasadena, California, my 5-year-old daughter and I were approached by a white man while swimming in the hotel pool. The man asked me if me and my little girl had showered before getting in the pool because people carry diseases into pools, and he doesn't want the health department to shut the pool down. Now, the fact that he was able to approach them, felt comfortable approaching, mind you, I've been in Vegas pools, okay? I've been in California pools. I've been in Seattle pools. I've been in Canada pools at hotels. Hotels where most of the people there, because at the Hyatt Regency, you're going to see very few Black people there. At the Westin, you will see very few Black people there because those are upper level hotels. And they're expensive. And I've never had that happen. But when you see her reaction in the video, sheerly emotional, like that of a child, then you can see why he would think that she's going to take it, because she's just relegated to a temper tantrum. I would have said, sir, when he said because people carry diseases, I would have said exactly, which is why you need to stay out of the pool. With your 6,000 disease genes, your pubic lice, your head lice, your psoriasis, and your 60% decrease in sperm count. I would have said, really, you can't even afford to be in the pool, least your sperm count decrease more than what it is. You're already impotent. Now, how did she handle it the first time? Because she said minutes later, he approached us again on the opposite end of the pool under the pretense that he worked for the health department. So after the first time he approached her, clearly her response was very passive because he felt comfortable and safe approaching her again. That's what I gather for that. Because again, depending on your response to the first thing is going to determine whether another incident happened. She didn't respond appropriately the first time, so therefore he came again with his racial terrorism and harassment because she didn't check him appropriately that time. No hotel security or staff were around to stop his verbal harassment. She could have stopped it. At that point, I called bullshit and I confronted him on what appeared to be blatant racism. You should have did that the first time, and then there wouldn't have been a second time. I let him know that being Black is not a disease and showering will not wash the black off our skin. If Black people don't stop justifying their Blackness to these cave devils, This is the problem, because black people always feel like they have to let white people know that because they're black, they're not bad. I'm not going to let you know any of that. But what she should have said, again, rather than justifying her blackness, she should have turned his attention to his whiteness. This is a mentality that's very problematic. Very problematic. But again, she said, I let him know that being black is not a disease and showering would not wash the black off her skin. And you telling him that isn't going to change his opinion because he still went over there and regurgitated it. I think it's awful that any man would think it's okay to essentially ask a woman and a little girl if we took off our clothes and scrubbed our naked bodies before getting into a hotel swimming pool. You don't even need to describe the process of a shower. We already know what a shower entails. You don't need to make it, look, she doesn't need to make it seem more dramatic than it is, because just by virtue of a white supremacist terrorist feeling like he can approach you, that's already dramatic enough. She don't need to try to make it any more dramatic. She should have saved herself some time and said, look, this is what it was. We went to the Westin, a white supremacist approached us with some typical white supremacist talking points. They're the historical precedents to them not wanting to share pools with black people. That's fine. I checked them. Now I'm dealing with the hotel. Few sentences. But again, this right here is indicative of an emotional tirade. And the fact that black people keep responding emotionally to these situations is why they're not getting anymore. You need to discard emotion and respond with strategy. The incident continued to escalate when my mother and a female hotel manager named Ophelia Dolliver came to the scene. Ms. Dolliver began to explain to the man that it was inappropriate for him to ask me such a question. The fact that, again, if the situation is escalating, that means she's not dealing with it appropriately. The man continued to taunt my little girl as she was being escorted away from the mayhem. Finally, the hotel's general manager, look, the bold, I can't with this, but black people again. Until you change the way you're responding to this deviltry, it will continue to happen. That's just the reality. Being emotional and yelling and cursing and all that tangent that she went on, that's not going to work, obviously, because it didn't. Finally, the hotel's general manager, Carl Sprayberry, came to the area. In true fashion, as soon as he arrived, he took one look at us and immediately let the white man leave and told us to step to the side with him. No, what the manager was doing, not to pick things, but what the manager was doing, that's what you're supposed to do. When you have customers, you break people up, you separate them, and you de-escalate the situation, because like he said, he got a long line of people there. That manager didn't make that white supremacist approach her. So I'm not even going to say the hotel's general manager was wrong. He's doing what people do. When I was in customer service, what I would do is, if there's a dispute, I separate them, pull one of them to the side, de-escalate the situation. Again, still being emotional. A sidebar, let me tell you a story. We were in Vegas, okay? Me and my sisters were in Vegas. We went to the pool area and they were playing country music. What we went over there and said is, hey, we don't want to hear white supremacist country music. You need to change it. The dude came over there talking about, well, he's Hispanic. We said, we don't care nothing about that. Change the music. I'm not going to sit here and listen to white supremacist Trump rally music. Guess what happened? They changed the music. Period. Because they saw that these were two black people who really don't care. We're not going to get emotional about it. Bottom line is, you're either going to change this music or you're going to refund us our money. Those are the two options that you have. You don't have any other options. Ain't nobody trying to listen to no slavery, old Jim Crow, nasty, hillbilly, two teeth having hicked out music. Ain't nobody trying to listen to that. That's just the reality. Change the music. And they changed the music. We didn't sit here and complain and whine and cry and throw a little child tantrum. And again, I'm not saying that this is her fault, because she can't control whether a white supremacist approaches her. She can control her response, though. And like I said, I'll say it again. The way that you respond to something is going to determine and predict whether or not it will continue to happen or whether it will cease to happen. Now, what we went up there is, we went and gave them two options. We don't want to listen to this country music. You got black people here who don't want to listen to country music. You need to put something on that's race neutral. That's what you need to do. You need to go put on some pop or some R&B or something like that. If you don't like it, you can just give us our money back. Because we sat up there and I think paid $250 for a cabana out there. And some drinks. So the bottom line is, I'm not about to pay $250 to look at a bunch of red fried ancient Egyptians while listening to nasty country music. That's not gonna happen. You need to change that music. And they changed the music. And I bet you did not one white person come over there and be bold enough to say anything to us. Because look, y'all can sit here and y'all can say weave, you can say makeup, you can say appealing to whiteness. They ain't that stupid. They don't think it's appealing to whiteness enough to where you're going to approach me and say some dumb stuff like this. That sure ain't going to happen. So maybe these black men should get some weave and makeup, and then maybe they'll be seen as more of a threat rather than white women approaching them and hitting them in the head with bottles. And he's talking about love in her heart. I wish you would approach me with something like that. That's all. They're not even going to approach me. So that's all that I know. They're not even about to approach me with that. It's not going to happen. So, but back to the thing. After many failed attempts at pleading with Mr. Sprayberry to not let the man go, but to instead find out who he was, we like, they already know who he is. Really? When you book a hotel room, you have to put your information in your credit card information. Just because he goes to his one room doesn't mean anything. Even if he still went to his room, they could still find out who he was. It's just, really? Only after speaking with the white bystanders who corroborated our story did Mr. Sprayberry instruct the other hotel managers to review the tapes to find the man he had just let go. This is the Westin Hotel, so I can assure you that all the other hotels, the only people who were there were white people. It just frustrates me because she's making the situation seem more dramatic than what it is, and she's making black people seem extremely remedial and dumb and overly emotional and childlike. Obviously, if you're in a hotel that is very expensive in Pasadena, California, you're probably one of the only black people there. She's probably one of the only black people there. So everybody else is going to be white. When I was at the Hyatt, me and my sister, other than these two other black men, were the only black people there. So if there was an incident, the only people they could ask was white people, because those are the only people who are there. Because black people, by and large, are not able to afford to be in the Hyatt Regency. That's just a reality. Just like with the Westin, most black people are not staying at the Westin in Pasadena. California is extremely expensive. The Westin in Pasadena is going to be extremely expensive. The Westin everywhere is extremely expensive, especially in the summer. So, they go ask white people, because other than you, those are the only people who are affording it. Like, that should just be common sense. And really, it's not the hotel manager's fault. It's that white supremacists who stayed there. Any place that allows white people to be in there, they're going to be racist. I don't think that the hotel manager did anything wrong in this situation. And that's because I worked for hotels and I've worked in customer service. And I know what the protocol is when they tell you to de-escalate a situation. You separate them and then you de-escalate it. Just like he said, I have a line of people over here. That is exactly what they tell you to do when you work for hotels. Again, I've worked for hotels, so I know. I've worked in customer service. I've done every type of thing. I've worked in department stores, so I know how these protocols go. He was doing simply what his job was to do. Upon our departure from the hotel, Miss Dolliver apologized to us and admitted that Mr. Sprayberry handled the situation incorrectly. No, he didn't. She said they were still reviewing the tapes to find the man and remove him from the hotel. No follow-up had been made by anyone from the Westin Hotel since. Now, that is the problem, that no follow-up has been made from the Westin Hotel since. And what she should have did, rather than posting it on the internet, is she should have filed a report with the Human Rights Commission. That's what she should have done. That's why when I've had my situation, because I had one with Target, you didn't see me post anything on social media. I could have set up here and I could have made a video on it. But what I did is I skipped that. I kept my video and I filed a report with a discrimination report with the Human Rights Commission. And I'm going to let them handle it. And then from there, I'm going to get an attorney, and then they're going to pay some reparations since they want to be racist. That's what I'm going to deal with. I'm not putting it on social media. I mean, I could, and I get why she's doing it. I mean, the story went viral, so I'm sure now she'll get a response. But the thing of it is these racist companies are white people, and they're going to be racist. And if black people knew who they were dealing with, they would know how to deal with who they're dealing with. It's sad that I had to explain to my beautiful little 5-year-old brown-skinned girl why in 2018 a white man would think it's okay to ask a little girl and her mom if we showered or presumably dirty black skin before entering the pool. You should be teaching her that anyway. I have to teach my innocent child that no matter how much we educate ourselves with degrees, no matter what career we choose, no matter if we own a nice home in a gated community or drive a nice car, there are still people in this world who will not like us just because of the color of our skin. And even worse, there are people, see, again, even what she said, she would teach them. See, because I would say, no matter what car we choose to drive, they're going to be hateful because that is who they are. That is who they are. See, the mother is putting it on them. Put it on white people. That's who they are. I would say that's who they are. That's their psychology. They cannot change. They're not going to change. They have a demented, depraved mindset. And the only thing that you can do is respond to it appropriately and demand that they're going to respect you and tell them that you can be racist, but you will be racist over there. I wouldn't even make it about myself. But let's continue. And even worse, there are people in this world in positions of power and authority like Carl Sprayberry that will not stand up for us when they know it's wrong that we are treated that way. And the thing of it is the bottom line of it is again, you shouldn't expect them to. So I guess this was them at the hotel, which the little girl is cute, obviously. She's a really cute little girl. And the mom is cute too.
How would you like to handle this?
But the reality of it is I truly do believe that black people's response to this is more problematic than anything. There's a reason these things don't happen to me. And I promise you, I'm in one of the most whitest cities and states around this country. I've been to LA hotels. I've been to Vegas hotels. I've been in hotels in Canada. I've been in Portland hotels, and I can tell you, never once have I had this happen to me. And that's because the way that if it happens to me, I'm going to deal with it in a manner to where I'm going to make an example, because you're not going to sit up here and think that somehow the black people are passive and you could just do whatever you want to do. That's not going to happen. You guys let me know, though. Sorry about my rant. This really irked me. It really did. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next one.